This past weekend, a couple of million people gathered to protest having a king, which we haven't had since 1776 and still don't have. So, yeah, I guess it was a success. But if we did have a king, how do you think it would look? Rosie the Riveter here, dropping more truth bombs to destroy fake news and propaganda. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell to get new videos when they are uploaded. Now, let's get into today's riveting topic. On Saturday, October 18th, buses arrived at nursing homes to pick up attendees and take them to the rallies where they joined other boomers for a fun-filled afternoon. Fortunately, most were returned before dinner at 4 p.m.
People I know who are there. This is an older crowd. There's not a lot of folks, and granted, it's a big crowd here. I'm not good at estimating, but it's definitely over 2,000, maybe close to 3,000. We can't see everyone, but it's an older crowd. A lot of white hair. You see out there Q-tips, as we used to call them in the business, and they're out protesting, and not a lot of young people.
But it made me start thinking, if I were king, or queen, to be more accurate, how would I govern? What would I do with all that power? First, I would collude with all forms of media and big tech to censor and suppress those who oppose me or discuss information I don't want discussed. Accuse dissenters of spreading misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation, which is facts-based information that goes against the narrative one wants pushed. I would further insist the media manipulate search engines and algorithms to push the information I want over my opposition. I would allow and join the media in spreading my own misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation on my political opponents to fit my agenda and narrative. I would threaten and attack any media organizations that oppose me while accusing my opponent of violating the First Amendment. I would also conspire with media to cover up all questionable and illegal actions I and my family were participating in, while accusing my opponent of doing those same actions. I would also award those who helped. I would pressure private businesses to also suppress and censor any type of information that goes against me and my agenda. Likewise, I would interject myself into private businesses and industries, often with the use of government taxpayer money, forcing them to bow to my demands, including targeting political opponents. Some actually label this as fascism. I would weaponize government agencies to illegally surveil those who oppose me and protest my agenda. I would also use government agencies to control and influence elections so I and my comrades win as many races as possible. I would also try to deny the opposition from being able to even vote for my political opponent by actually keeping them from being on the ballot. If need be, I would partner with other non-government organizations, sometimes called NGOs, to manipulate elections and further my causes, even if they're unconstitutional. Likewise, I would use government agencies to spy on, sabotage, target, probe, indict, and arrest my political opponents. On the flip side, I would prevent those same government agencies from speaking about or investigating me and my family for similar crimes, even going as far as having my comrades outright lie, all while claiming it is my opponent who is the dictator and authoritarian. I would use my powers to purposely sabotage and destroy my political opponent's administration. I would encourage those in my camp, including ones claiming to be my opposition, along with the media, to illegally leak information about my political opponents. I would contact my allies in other countries to investigate my political opponents and make up evidence against them. However, if my opponent tries to expose my corruption, I will have my comrades impeach him. I would weaponize government agencies to use backdoor means to go after constitutional rights. I would then threaten the citizens repeatedly that they couldn't get enough weaponry to fight me anyway. I would specifically beef up and literally weaponize with actual weapons the IRS before sending them out to target, intimidate, and financially cripple not just my opponents, but all middle and lower class citizens while leaving my comrades totally alone. The IRS would be my own little band of Sheriff of Nottinghams. I would weaponize the government to illegally spy on citizens who oppose me in all aspects of their lives. I would instruct government agencies designed to help citizens in trouble to withhold those efforts from my political opposition. I would befriend, collude with, and pay organizations, including government ones, to attack my opponents and label them as extremists, among other things. I would pay social media influencers to endorse my policies, push my agenda, and attack my opponents, and act like it is all organic and grassroots. I would also turn a blind eye to billionaires in my circle funding those same influencers and events as well, as our goal is the same. I would implement draconian policies and demand government organizations and other entities comply. Even to the point of manipulating and covering up data to further my narrative. All while attacking and punishing those who oppose them. I would also activate the media to advance the condemnation of non-compliance, promote propaganda, and hide real evidence. I would not only ignore Supreme Court rulings myself, but I would tell businesses to defy court orders as well, while insisting that it is my opponent who is disregarding the Constitution and rule of law. I would also encourage citizens to police their families, friends, and neighbors and report anyone going against my official narrative. I would demand anonymity for whistleblowers saying things I like, while punishing and targeting whistleblowers exposing me, including claiming they belong to groups that I purposely branded as extremist groups so as to justify my actions in the public eye. I would use my DOJ to brand average citizens, moms and dads fighting for their children in schools, as domestic terrorists so as to target, harass, and penalize them, while I allow real terrorists to illegally flood our country and insist they are just seeking asylum, knowing the media was already in my pocket and would not report on my actions. I would even target other government officials who dared to oppose me. I would show favoritism within government institutions, like the military, to those agendas I want, while persecuting what I oppose. I would use government agencies to target, threaten, and prosecute protesters opposing my agenda, to send a message to others they better back off. I would further deny my opponents their constitutional rights on campuses to ensure pure indoctrination of my agenda. I would fund, choose, nominate, and repeatedly use the same AGs, prosecutors, and judges when prosecuting my opponents, making sure to get the convictions I am seeking with no regard to blind justice. while dismissing those who participate in illegal activity that I approve of, as well as obstruct orders that could hurt me. I could keep going, but I think you get the idea. The truth is, leftists don't mind a king at all. They cried for Obama to be one when he was in office. What's clear is that the liberals speaking out don't want a president. They want a king, albeit a liberal king, but still a king, who would be unrestrained by Congress as well as the checks and balances enshrined in our Constitution. And that was from CNN. These hypocrites just don't like it when the other side is in power, and they will do anything to get back onto the throne. They are so blinded by hate, so manipulated by propaganda, and are suffering so deeply from Trump derangement syndrome that they can't see their blatant hypocrisy. They can't even recognize that they are the thing they claim they abhorred. The hippie boomers still think they are fighting the man, standing for the little guy against the billionaire oligarchs running the world. Except the No Kings grassroots rally was funded by the likes of Arabella, which is a for-profit company that advises left-wing organizations where to donate their money. Also, Warren Buffett, the Ford Foundation, Rockefeller, George Soros, as well as his Tides Foundation. The commentators and media promoted it as a grassroots movement taking hold in the country as the tide turns towards the left. The surest way to know that this is in no way organic is rallies also took place in Canada and the UK. Let me repeat that. No king rallies took place in Canada and UK. You know, countries ruled by a king. Sorry, boomers. You are now the man's stooge, as your little $250 million party on Saturday was paid in full by the biggest oligarchs in the world. But like I said, rest easy. Your efforts paid off. America still doesn't have a king, as Trump is still your president. We're going to be fine. I do know, though, that calls are already being made that Vance is actually worse than Trump. I'm Rosie the River, and that's my 2 cents. But what do you think? Leave your comments down below. If you enjoy my content, please consider supporting my work on Patreon. You can find all my videos and my blog, Liberating Letters, at thefactspaper.com. You can also start your own research on the Facts Paper by exploring the thousands of links to articles I have, including those noted in my videos. Sharing the truth fake news propagandists won't. Investigate and discover the truth for yourself.